Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solution. BISP Solution is a tech company that provides technical solutions across the world. So today we will be understanding migration of data from QuickBooks to NetSuite. So why we are doing this migration process? So let's suppose we are taking a company. Let's suppose XYZ company is there, which is a growing business, which started with small but now has expanded to multiple locations with a booming customer base. So when XYZ company firstly started, so they started using QuickBooks to manage their finances, track expenses and handle basic accounting. So QuickBooks worked wonderfully for them. So in their early days, so it was very simple, affordable for that company, and also it was completing their job. So however, as XYZ company grew, so they started facing challenges like data silos, which means like QuickBooks couldn't keep up with the growing complexities of their operations. Their sales, inventory and customer data was scattered across different systems. So this made it difficult to get a clear picture of how the business was performing. Then they have limited scalability, which means with their increased volume of transactions, QuickBooks became slower, and managing multiple entities or currencies was nearly impossible for the company XYZ. And also in QuickBooks they are doing manual processes like consolidating financial reports across branches were manual and time consuming. Okay, so errors started creeping in and causing delays and confusion for the company. And also there was lack of real-time insights, which means they couldn't make informed decisions quickly because they lacked real-time data visibility because of limited scalability, and manual processes are there, and they are having lack of real-time insights. That's why so they decided to move to NetSuite. So how did they realize they needed a more robust, scalable and integrated solution? So XYZ companies started facing all the issues with QuickBooks, so they decided to move to NetSuite, which is a cloud-based ERP system. So NetSuite promised to bring all the operations under one roof, which offers a single source of truth for financial, inventory and customer data. Also it provides real-time dashboards for better decision making. It automates the manual tasks, reducing errors and saving time for them. And also it provides scalability to support their growing business needs. So what are the benefits they enjoyed while shifting to NetSuite? First was the operations were streamlined, which means sales, inventory and accounting teams now worked seamlessly together. Then global management, so they could manage multiple locations, currencies and subsidiaries effortlessly. And also they are getting data driven decisions, which means they are getting real time insights, allowed them to forecast better and respond to market changes faster. Also scalability, which was the first point for QuickBooks to NetSuite migration, where NetSuite adapted to their growing needs without slowing down. So this is the migration of data from QuickBooks to NetSuite. By companies do migration, the main thing is that QuickBooks only operate in USA and NetSuite operates anywhere at any time, as it's a cloud-based system. So in our previous sessions we have discussed why we are migrating. So for that purpose we are migrating because QuickBooks is useful for small and medium-sized businesses which often begin their financial management journey with QuickBooks due to their simplicity, affordability and ease of use. So however these businesses grow and their operations become more complex, so QuickBooks struggles to accommodate advanced requirements. So it's as we discussed today also, that it is having a limited scalability and it also has lack of real-time reporting, insufficient integration is also there, and inadequate support for multi-entity system, and the management hinder operational efficiency and decision making. So to address these limitations, businessmen or businesses must transition to a robust and scalable solutions like NetSuite, so which provides a integrated cloud-based platform that support complex financial processes, multi-subsidiary management, real-time analytics and seamless workflow automation, so which enables businesses to streamline operations, enhance productivity and scale effectively to meet future growth demands. All in all, company is opening its subsidiary in India, so we need to need NetSuite for the same. So in our previous sessions we learned about limitations which we have discussed today also, about limitations of using QuickBooks. Then limitations were lack of scalability is there, limited reporting and analytics is there, inadequate multi-entity and multi-currency support is there, restricted integration capabilities, manual and time-consuming processes is there, weak inventory management, limited customization is there, data security and audit trails was the limitation for QuickBooks. So we have discussed about limitations, what QuickBooks are facing and what are the benefits why we are migrating to NetSuite. We also discussed that. So why we are implementing, so the main objective of implementing a new system such as migrating from QuickBooks to NetSuite is to enhance business operations by addressing current limitations and aligning technology with organizational growth and goals. So like scalability and growth support is there, and streamlining financial and operational processes is there, real-time insight and decision making is there, centralized data management will be there, improving compliance and audit readiness is there, boosting efficiency and advanced features is done in the implementation part, and enhancing user experience and collaboration is there, ensuring business continuity and resilience is there, and optimizing total cost of ownership, which means reducing reliance on multiple disconnected tools and systems are there. So in our previous sessions we understood the meaning of SDLC, which is software development lifecycle is there, and what are the phases of SDLC. Then SDLC models will be there, and the business requirement gathering steps was there, like understanding scope and objective, defining functional requirements of the business, and defining technical requirement of the company using standard BRD format or business requirement document format, and prioritizing requirement, maintaining clarity and traceability, and continuously reviewing and updating the stakeholders. So starting with our SDLC, we will be taking 5 minutes for briefing previous topics. So what is SDLC? We have discussed in our previous session also in the context of NetSuite, which is a cloud-based ERP. We have discussed this, like ERP is enterprise resource planning. So it is a solution applied to customize and extend the platform to meet specific business requirements. So this can involve customization, suite script development, suite flow, integration with third-party system, and more. So there are 6 phases of the software development cycle, and these 6 development cycles have different people engaging with them. So before coming to our 6 phases, before coming to analysis, we will be starting with our planning. Planning is defining what is the scope of customization or implementation in NetSuite considering the business process needs. So for example, a company plans to implement NetSuite CRM and integrate it with their e-commerce platform. So planning is done for the same. Then we will analyze the requirement, where the product owner, project manager, business analyst, and CTO will be there. So what they will be, their objective. So they will be gathering detailed requirements for NetSuite implementation, configuration, or customization. Then they will move to designing. So the objective of the designing is creating a technical document or design for implementing the requirements in NetSuite, and the people involved in designing is system architect, UX or UI designer. Then implementation or development, which means development and configuration of the NetSuite system according to the design will be there. So it will be handled by front-end developer and back-end developer. Then testing phase will be there. So the people who are involved in testing, they will verify the functionality and performance of the NetSuite customization. So the people involved in testing were solutions architect, QA engineer, tester, and DevOps engineer. So QA engineer is quality analyst engineer who will test the quality of the software. Then this deployment phase will be coming, where the people involved are data administrator and DevOps engineer. So what is the meaning of deployment? So deployment and maintenance are the so deploying the NetSuite system or customization and ensuring continuous operation, which means if we are giving to a business, so this means deployment. So after deployment, last cycle, which will be going endlessly, because this is a maintenance phase where users, testers, and support managers will be there. So they will be doing post implementation work. If the user is facing any bugs or errors, so they will provide a support for the same. Then comes our SDLC models. So first of all, it is a waterfall model where a sequential approach will be there, and in this waterfall model, each phase is completed before moving to the next model. So its limitations are it is inflexible to changes in requirements once the project starts, and the testing phase only occurs at the end, which can delay the discovery of critical issues. Then comes our agile model, where it is an iterative approach that delivers functionality in small increments, and limitations for the same is it requires constant collaboration, which may be challenging for distributed teams. Also, scope creep can occur if changes are not well managed. Then V model is validation and verification. So testing is planned parallel development phases, ensuring early validation. So the limitation for the V model is it is highly rigid and does not support changes after the testing phase starts, and it can be time consuming for small or simple projects. Then comes our iterative model. So iterative model is the project is development cycle and gradually improving upon previous versions. So iterative model limitations were it requires significant management documentation for each iteration, and it is continuously causing increase in cost due to multiple iterations. So after that, spiral model is there. Spiral model is combination of iterative development with risk management at every phase. So limitations for the same were it is high cost and complex due to repeated risk analysis also, and it is not suitable for small projects with minimal risk. Then waterfall model is implemented in NetSuite Financial for a small business without customization. Agile model is used in developing suite scripts and workflows for a retail company, releasing them incrementally. Then spiral model is used to build a custom integration between NetSuite and Salesforce with risk analysis at each step. And DevOps, or we can say Big Bang model, is continuously updating and enhancing a custom NetSuite instance for a SaaS company. Okay, so after that, business requirement gathering was we have discussed. So it is a process of identifying, documenting and understanding the needs of a business project. So it involves engaging with stakeholders to collect detailed information about what they expect from the system and the product or process to achieve. So this is a crucial phase in any project as it ensures alignment between business goals and the financial deliverable. So key objectives of business requirement gathering is step 1 was the understanding the scope and objectives. So it clearly defines the project goals and deliverables, aligning requirements with the business objective and stakeholder expectation. Then step 2 is defining functional requirement, where functional requirements specify what the system should do and include. So in that, business process requirement is there, steps and workflows the system should support. Then user requirements, features or functionalities that users need, such as login, reporting or data entry. And system behavior, like expected system responses to specific inputs or events. Then step 3 is defining technical requirements, which means technical requirements describe how the system will achieve the functional requirements and include system architecture, which means technologies, platforms and frameworks to be used. Then performance requirement, response time, scalability and uptime. And security requirements, authentication methods, encryption standards and data protection measures is there. For example, the system must be accessible via web and a browser and a mobile app also. Then step 4 is using standard documentation format. It is not necessary to follow standard documentation format, but in businesses there is a base for preparing a BRD, so that's why this step is included here. So in this using standard documentation format. There is a BRD, which is business requirement document, so it focuses on functional requirements and business needs. And system requirement specification is combining functional and technical requirements for a detailed overview. Then comes our step 5 is prioritizing requirements, where we will be using methods like Moscow, which means must have, should have, could have, won't have, to prioritize requirements based on business impact. And we will be maintaining clarity and traceability with stakeholders, so using an simple and concise languages with them, so which will avoid technical jargon for functional requirements, so that they get a clarity about what we are doing. And we are creating a traceability matrix to map each requirement to its corresponding deliverable. Then reviewing and updating regularly, where it means like requirements evolve throughout the project lifecycle, which conduct regular reviews and updates to reflect changes if there. So after that, last will be the BRD. So as we are preparing BRD document for the same, here we will be getting our front page, which is business requirement document for the specific company from our company, and migration data will be there. And here we are getting this revision history, and with this revision history is for whenever our meeting is held, we will be entering the date and name with whom we are doing meeting and what designation he or she is in, and we will be understanding what revisions or what we have to change. So in revision history, all the dates will be mentioned with name and designation. Then reviewers are the person who is reviewing our BRD, FDD. Their name will be there, and designation with date will be mentioned here. Then approvals from our head, it will be approved, so the date and name and designation of the same person will be mentioned here. Then coming to our contents, it provides us executive summary, where we will be providing all the details that we are an IT consulting and service provider founded in 2012 and all will be mentioned here. And we will be telling our client about our company, so what is our ultimate goal, and what we are providing our business partners, and what we believe that we are working closely with customers and having a detailed understanding of the business domain is the key of a success of our business. So what we are using iterative methodology, which has proven to be very successful in this regard. And this is our executive summary. And if we want to say our vision, so we work on 5 C's, which is commitment, collaboration, consistent, cost effective, and customized. Then if we go to our project overview, it will be providing us why we are preparing migration data project, because the goal is to move our financial data from QuickBooks to Oracle NetSuite for our business. So as per the changes in technology, it is a essential part of our daily life that we have to switch from basic software to a cloud-based ERP system like Oracle NetSuite, which has become necessary to remain competitive in the business world. So the use of business software has also become necessary to ensure that you can compete the world. So why we are moving, and all the details are provided here. And this is the bullet points which we will be highlighting in our project overview, where ERP system allow us to store data in a centralized location, and it is providing us predefined access rules, and it access the right information, and it monitor the entire business process. This is the project overview why we are doing a project of this particular migration. Then why client want to switch, it is also given here that in India consultants are easily available, and Indian standard accounting is supported by NetSuite tool. So that's why we are switching, or our client is switching from QuickBooks to NetSuite. So after that, we will be telling our client about project scope. So project scopes, in scope is GL implementation. We will be implementing GL is general ledger. We will be implementing where accounting calendar, COA structure, enabling currency, enable features option, and accounting standards to create ledger will be implemented. GL balance migration is like general ledger balance migration, where we will be importing closing trial balance, that is YTD and PTD from QuickBooks through spreadsheet. Last 2 years only we will be taking data. Then AP implementation, which means accounts payable implementation, where we will be taking common basic setups for payables, and we will be migrating accounts payable data, so active metadata for vendor, which is of last 2 years only, opening invoices without purchase order. And then we will be implementing AR, which is accounts receivable, active customer details, open transactional details last 2 years. Then we will be migrating accounts receivable data, and then we will be implementing our financial report. So based on our clients, we generate internal reports and external reports that are either balance based or transaction based. These were the phase 1 process. Then coming to our phase 2 process, where we will be giving training to our user, which is through online mode only. Then we will be providing a user guide documentation handover in PDF or Word or Excel format, whichever is suitable for the same. Then we will be providing post implementation support, where if client is facing any issues related to software using or some process, so we will provide tickets and issue resolving things to them. Then out scope involves the things which we will not be able to provide as per the NetSuite limitations, where HCM, CRM, workflow, SCM will not be implemented in NetSuite. HW and SW expenses will be bear by client only, and we will not provide any SW or HW during the implementation. Licensing and subscription cost and other expense will be bear by the client only, and few times Oracle conducts maintenance on weekends, and it might affect your working. And there is multi-currency adjustment in through IS, which is Indian Standard 21 clause. So this is the things which we will be mentioning in our BRD. So after that, we will be seeing current or proposed process for COA structure, accounting period, currency information, GL process workflow, O2C and P2P cycle, current and proposed. And we will be preparing chart for the same, that what is the COA structure in QB, and what is the process proposed proposed COA structure in NetSuite, that we will be starting. First step will be assets and current, and there will be current assets and non-current assets. In current assets, what will be included and what not to, what is in current liabilities, and these all are included. Then accounting period, we will be following both the calendars as per the client demands. Then we will be providing currency information. US and India currency will be there. Then GL workflow, where current and proposed will be there. So this is the current of QuickBook, and this is the proposed, where we will be entering data. Then description will be there. System performed basic validation check, which is required fields, account balance validity. Then decision point will be there. Are all validations passed? If yes, then proceed to step 2. If no, then return to data entry for corrections. These are the proposed GL workflow process through which a client can easily understand what is need to be done. Then GL reports, where GL inquires. Then balance sheet reports, income state report, cash flow. Then GL detail report. Then O2C and P2P cycle, current and proposed. So current O2C cycle in QuickBook is this. Then in NetSuite, it is like we will be starting customer inquiry or lead. Then decision is the lead qualified. If yes, then create opportunity. If no, then follow up or discard. Then this process will be continuation. Then current P2P process in QuickBook is like creating PO, then getting approval, then goods receipt will be done, then creating vendor bill, then invoice is generated, then vendor payment is done. In NetSuite, it is like internal purchase request is there. Then departments or user submits requests. Then in this decision is purchasing within budget. Is the purchasing is done in budget only? If yes, then proceed to creating purchase order, selecting vendor. If no, then seek approval. Then after that, we will specify the item details and delivery terms is there. Approval if required. Then if approval is required, then goods receipt will be done. In that, receiving goods or services will be written. Then verifying against purchase order will be there, and updating inventory if applicable. Then invoice processing, and this whole process will be ending after the updating accounts payable will be done. Then data migration steps will be provided in BRD. Then document parameters, where critical and high, medium will be provided, and documentation required like this will be given in our BRD document, where assumption, where both QuickBooks and NetSuite instances are accessible and available for data extraction and import. Data in QuickBooks is structured and complete for direct migration. Stakeholders will provide timely approvals and data access for testing phases. Sufficient storage and computational resources are available to handle the data load. But there are some limitations of the target system also. There are data volume constraints, when NetSuite has specific volume limits for certain data types, which may affect migration speed. Field length restrictions is there, format compatibility is there, user license limitation and transaction limitations will be there. And what are the hardware and software requirements? So operating system, we will be using total number of license from NetSuite as per requirement. Operation system is Windows, and browser we will be using are these. Hardware requirement is processor speed and processor type, RAM, hard disk drive. These all we will be understanding in our session. So milestone tasks, we will project planning, then requirement and analysis will be there, designing stage, then we will be importing existing client data, then we will be creating GUI, then implementation is done, then testing phase is done, then final UAT, which is user acceptance test, will be there, and after that giving the training to the employees of client, and then giving the necessary documentation to the client. So these are the milestone tasks for us. So this is how we can prepare BRD in as per our client's requirement. Then key components of business requirement document is like executive summary, where we will be briefing overview of the project, then high level objective, scope and purpose will be solved, then we will be summarizing business problems to be solved. Then project overviews, where we will be clearly defining business goals and outcomes, how the project aligns with organization strategy and success criteria for the project we will be mentioning. Then scope of the project, where in scope, where the list of activities, deliverables and functionalities to be included, and out scope, where explicit mention of what is excluded to avoid scope creep will be there. Then business requirement, where specific, measurable and clear requirements categorized into functional requirements and non-functional requirements. So functional requirement is features or capabilities system should have, and non-functional requirement is performance, security, usability and compliance needs will be there. Then prioritizing of requirements, which means must have, nice to have. Then comes our stakeholders. So identification of key stakeholders and their roles we have to offer them. Then description of their expectations and contribution to the project will be mentioning in BRE document. Then we will be creating current state analysis. So in current state analysis, we will be overviewing the existing process, system or situation, and we will be identifying pain points or inefficiencies for the same. Then proposed solution, where high level description of the recommended approach or solution we will be providing and justifying for the proposed solution will be there. Then we will be creating assumption and constraints, that assumption made during the project planning phase, what is happening or what will happen, we will be assuming the same. And constraints like budget, timeline the client provided to us, resources, if we are having ample resources or not, or technology limitation will be mentioned in BRD document, which we have learned while seeing BRD document. Then requirement traceability matrix, which is RTM, where a table of map business requirements to their corresponding functional or technical specification will be there, which ensures no requirements are overlooked. Then comes our project timeline, where high level milestones and deadlines will be there. Phases of the project with estimated completion dates will be there. Then comes our risk and mitigation plans, where identification of potential risk or challenges will be there, and mitigation strategies to address risk is there. Then approvals and sign off, which means this is a section for stakeholders for reviewing and formal approval of the BRD is done, which ensures accountability and consensus. Then comes our appendix, which is optional for our BRD document, which means supporting documents is there, reference or glossary of terms is written there, and there detailed diagrams or charts is made, which means like process flows, which I have showed in BRD document about COA or GL implementation process diagram. So this structure ensures that the BRD is comprehensive, structured and serves as a solid foundation for successful project execution. Then so this was the our previous sessions understanding. Now today's agenda is project scope, key components of the scope, data to migrate and all is the agenda for today. So starting with our first topic, which is project scope. So the project scope outlines the boundaries, goals, deliverables and limitations of the implementation project, which involves key components of the scope like the objective, which means migrating financial data and operations from QuickBooks to NetSuite while ensuring minimal disruption. Then modules included in project scope is general ledger, accounts payables, account receivable, fixed assets, inventory and reporting. Then data to migrate is chart of accounts, open and historical transactions, customer and vendor information, inventory and fixed assets records, financial reports. Then end user training and documentation, which equips users with the knowledge to operate in NetSuite efficiently, and constraints are limited timelines, budget constraints on resource availability. Then data to migrate, we have discussed chart of accounts and all will be the data from QuickBook. Then customization and integration. So first is custom workflows or scripts in NetSuite and integration with existing tools like CRM, payroll or e-commerce platform. What milestones we will be achieving. So breaking the project into milestones ensures clarity and better tracking for progress. And establishing timelines and resource allocation, which means first is project kickoff, which means finalizing project goals and scope with the timeline of 1 week, and identifying stakeholders and form project teams. Then analyzing system and planning, which will take 2 to 3 weeks, where we will analyze current QuickBooks setup, which means COA, modules, integrations like that. And we will be designing NetSuite structures like COA, entities, workflows like that. Then data mapping and cleaning up is mapping QuickBooks data fields to NetSuite equivalents, which will take around 4 to 5 weeks for the same. And it also clean up the redundant or outdated data for the same. Then system configuration, where it configures NetSuite modules and workflows, setting up of roles, permission and access controls is there, and it will take around 6 to 7 weeks. Then data migration is migrating master data, which is COA, customers, vendors, and also importing historical transaction and validating accuracy. So it will take around 8 to 9 weeks. Then testing and validation, it will take around 10 to 11 weeks for conducting system testing for functionality and data integrity and performing user acceptance testing. Then comes our user training and support, which train users on NetSuite workflows, reports and dashboards, which will take 12 weeks time, where we will be providing user manuals and conducting Q&A session if there is any questions of the employees. Then go live preparation, where there will be finalized cutoff date for QuickBook operations, and we will be preparing a go live checklist like data validation is done, system backups are done, etc. like that. So it will take around 13 weeks. And then after go live preparation is done, so go live and post go live support will be given to the users, where migration, final open transactions are done, and go live with NetSuite is done. And it will monitor system performance and provide immediate support for issues. After that, best practices is that stakeholders alignment is there. So regularly communication is done with stakeholders. Risk management, it means like identifying potential risk and preparing for contingency plans. And testing is thoroughly test all the configurations, data migration and integration is done. Then documentation, maintaining detailed record of configuration, mapping and processes is done. Then tools and resources. So project management tools, where it covers Jira, Asana or Microsoft Project for tracking milestones. Then second migration tools is data migration tools, which is NetSuite CSV import assistant or third party tools like Celigo or Boomi. Then last is testing tools, where QA tools like Selenium or manual scripts for UAT is done. Then establishing timelines and resources allocation. So a successful migration from QuickBooks to NetSuite involves careful planning, realistic timelines and optimal resource allocation, which covers project planning phase, where task is defining the project scope and objective, then identifying stakeholders and creating a high level project plan and timeline, which we will be requiring resources like project managers, business analysts, NetSuite implementation partner. Then requirement gathering and analysis, which will take around 2 to 4 weeks for the same. So the task is document functional and technical requirements is done. Then it will analyze gaps between QuickBooks and NetSuite functionality. Also it finalizes customization and integration needs. So resources needed for the same are business analysts, key stakeholders, NetSuite consultants. Then data mapping and preparation, which will take around 3 to 5 weeks, where tasks involves are extracting data from QuickBooks and mapping data fields to NetSuite structure, and then cleaning and validating the data to ensure accuracy and consistency, where resources needed are data analysts, finance team and NetSuite consultants. Then system configuration and customizing, which will take around 4 to 6 weeks, where the task is to configure NetSuite to match business process, developing customization as per requirements and setting up user roles and permission. So what resources are needed? It requires NetSuite administrator, developers and functional consultant. Then integration development and testing, so it will take around 3 to 6 weeks. So tasks involved is integrating NetSuite with existing systems and testing integrations for data flow, accuracy and performance, and resolving any integration issues. So resources needed are developers, QA testers and NetSuite consultants. Then comes our data migration, which will take around 2 to 4 weeks, where task is to perform a trail migration to test data integrity and migrating final data into NetSuite and validating migrated data against QuickBooks for accuracy. So what are the resources needed for the same? Data analyst, QA team and finance team for the same. Then comes our user training and documentation. So it will take around 2 to 3 weeks, where tasks involved is conducting training sessions for end users on NetSuite, providing detailed documentation for workflows and processes, and also addressing users' queries and concerns, for which we will require trainers and end users for this last phase. Then comes our go live preparation and execution. It will take around 1 to 2 weeks, where task involves finalizing cutover plan for switching from QuickBooks to NetSuite, then performing final system and data validation and executing go live and monitor the system closely. The resources required are project manager, NetSuite consultant and IT support team. Post go live support and optimization, which will take around 4 to 6 weeks, where it will monitor system performance and resolve any post implementation issues. It will fine tune configurations and workflows as needed. It will gather feedback for future enhancement. The resources needed are support team, IT team, key stakeholders will be there. Then example timeline for implementation. So first phase will be planning, so it will take 1 to 2 weeks duration, and cumulative timeline will be week 1 2, and requirement gathering is 2 to 4 weeks duration. Data mapping and preparation will be done in 3 to 5 weeks. Configuration and customization will be done in 4 to 6 weeks. Integration and testing will be done in 3 to 6 weeks, and data migration will be done 2 to 4 weeks. Training and documentation to the client's employees, so it will done in 2 to 3 weeks, and go live will be done in 31 to 32 days, so it will take around 1 to 2 weeks mostly. And post go live support will be done 4 to 6 weeks duration timing. So after that, resource allocation tips will be there. So we will define roles clearly, which means ensuring each team member knows their responsibility. Engaging experts, which means leveraging experienced NetSuite consultants for critical tasks. And balancing workload, it means distributing tasks evenly to avoid resource burnout. Then we will be allocating budget wisely, which means focusing on train and post go live support for smooth adoption will be there. Then comes our tools and methodologies for project tracking. So like implementing a migration from QuickBooks to NetSuite is a complex project that requires careful planning, execution and monitoring. So using the right tools and methodologies ensures a smooth transition and successful implementation for project. So the project management tools we will be using is Jira, Microsoft Project, Asana, Trello and Monday.com. So Jira is for tracking tasks, bugs and sprints. Microsoft Project is for detailed project planning, Gantt charts and resource management. And Asana is for managing tasks, assignments, deadlines and collaboration. Trello is for a simple visual tool using boards and cards to track progress. Monday.com is for customizable workflows for tracking implementation milestones and team responsibilities. Then comes our methodologies, in which waterfall, agile, hybrid. Hybrid is for agile and waterfall both, and scrum. So in waterfall, we have discussed previously also, it is a sequential phases and requirement gathering is done in waterfall. After that, designing is done and implementation testing is done. After implementation, testing is done and deployment is done. In agile method, it is an iterative approach with sprints, regular feedback and flexibility. Hybrid, agile plus waterfall is combination of the structured approach of waterfall and agile capability. Then Scrum is a framework under agile with sprints, daily stand-ups and a Scrum Master to guide. Then comes our methodologies when to use. So waterfall for well-defined stable projects with clear deliverables and limited changes is there. Agile for dynamic project where requirements may evolve during the implementation. Hybrid, which includes agile plus waterfall, where some parts of the project are fixed while other requires flexibility for the same. Then Scrum is for teams that need tight collaboration and quick iterations. Then comes our data migration and integration tools. So Celico is for automating data migration and integrates QuickBooks with NetSuite. Then comes our Boomi. So Boomi for cloud-based integrations tool for seamless data transfer and syncing. Then Dell Boomi is for supporting complex integration and workflows. Then Suite Apps in NetSuite is for NetSuite Marketplace for pre-built migration tools. The tool which we will be using in our project is manual importing with CSV, which means exporting QuickBooks data to CSV files and importing them into NetSuite using the CSV import assistant only. Then comes our documentation tool. So it ensures clear documentation of requirement, tasks, and outcomes. So first tool is Confluence. So the purpose of Confluence is centralizing wiki for storing project details, workflows, and decisions. Google Workspace tool is for collaborative tools like Google Docs and Sheets for real-time editing and sharing. Microsoft OneNote is for note taking and task tracking for project documentation. So, by leveraging the right combination of tools and methodologies, you can ensure that every aspect of QuickBooks and NetSuite migration is well planned, effectively and efficiently executed, and thoroughly monitored. So this approach minimizes risk, ensures data accuracy, and helps achieving the project goals on time. So as you plan your migration journey, remember that choosing the right tools and systems can make all the difference in achieving your business objectives. So we hope this webinar has provided you with the clarity and confidence to take the next steps. So thank you for joining us today and have a great day ahead.